Last preview of the year. Let's do it. Also, exciting stuff. Windhager, do you want him?
Now Majak Door. He's got the runner inside Majak and tried the shimmy and the sidestep. Uses the 15. How good is that?
Hello guys, before we start, I forgot to record this, so I'm dropping in this little bit of information. This Saturday at 5 p.m. after the Crows game, I'm doing my first ever YouTube live fan cams for you guys to come on the pod and have your say. I'm very, very excited. So if you have time, if you can join on a phone. You can be anywhere in the world and join this live stream. Jump onto YouTube, Further North on YouTube. Please watch the live stream, join the live stream. I'll post the link. You can click it and you can potentially be on the podcast and have your time to talk about the game, talk about North Melbourne, talk with me on the pod. It's very, very exciting. Disclaimer, I've never live streamed before. I can't say it's going to be the easiest thing. Things might go wrong. This is a test for me, but I want this to become more common. And hopefully after every game I don't go to and I can, next year we can live stream and do some fan cams. I'd like to do some live streams when things happen in the off season as well. We get a big free agent, we get a big trade, something like that. I want to be able to live stream for you guys, okay? So please, if you want to support the channel, it means so much, subscribe, get to the live stream, 5 p.m. on YouTube on Saturday on the Further North channel here, and you can get on the podcast and have your say. Let me know. I'll see you there. Enjoy the pod. Welcome back to Further North, everybody. The last preview podcast of the year. I can't believe we've made it. We've been through so much, and we're coming up against the best team in the AFL to finish the season. Lucky us. Lucky us. Look, there's a lot to talk about. We're going to get into live team reaction. There's a lot of rumors. The off-season is well and truly underway. We're getting links with a lot of different players. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to tip. We're going to do all the normal things around here. And we're just going to have a discussion. It's only me this week again. Be honest with you guys. Couldn't be bothered really organising someone to come on. I left it too late with me being in Tassie and I was meant to organise it. I didn't. And so I do apologise. But next season, that'll all be back. And, you'll get the interviews with the players. Not the players, my bad. With the people who support the other teams. Oh, I need a break. I've done a lot of these podcasts. But hey, last preview of the year. Let's get to it. For those watching on YouTube, please subscribe. My goal is to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year, not the season, the calendar year, because there's so much trade, free agency, draft stuff to come. And to be honest, that's the time when the channel sort of pops because people love it. People love the optimism and the hope. Sell me a dream, Brady. Sell me a dream. On Brady Rawlings, I released a video through the week, and go and watch it if you haven't. It's on, does Brady Rawlings deserve more credit? And people proceeded to just name everything he's done wrong. And I said to most of the people, yep, I agree. But what about the stuff he's done right, which we refuse to acknowledge? I'm not saying he does deserve more credit. I'm not saying he doesn't. It's just a discussion with me and Joel. And I think it's really interesting. The YouTube comments were actually pretty sensible. Clearly some knowledgeable people. It was the Instagram comments of everyone just giving me lists of things he hasn't done well. And my simple reply to a lot of them was, I agree. But what about the ones he's done right? And that was the point of the video where I think a lot of us get too emotional and we're more focused on the bad when he has done a lot of good things. Pink, Trembath, there's many, many more. He's found those guys from nowhere, but no one really gives him credit. But then when he drafts someone like that and they don't work out, we are upset at him. It's like with the top draft picks. We say, oh, it's easy to draft Sheasel and blah, blah, blah. But then if he drafts one and it doesn't work out, we go, that's your fault, Brady. You know what I mean? It counteracts people's own arguments, and that's what we're trying to break down. We also talk about the Richmond trade and how I believe it's not as lopsided as first thought. So go and watch that video, and let's get into this podcast. Okay, my voice is a little bit croaky. I'm getting sick. I apologize. But hey, let's get through this. Live team reaction. I don't even feel like there'll probably be many changes this week. Obviously, Zerha comes out of the team. Who would really come in? I don't know. I don't even know who's up for selection. Robert Anson Jr., maybe. Aiden Corr's back, but it'd be weird unless they're going to drop. I don't want to see Whitlock go. I don't want to see Geordie Payne dropped. Who would I drop? It's hard to drop anyone. Cooper Harvey's the one that people have talked about. not having a good game. But, I mean, when everyone else is a good game, I don't really care. If one bloke gets 4 touches, to be honest, it just happened to be Harvey on the day. Other than that, we've been praising him. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very underwhelming live team reaction. But look, let's have a look. 3, 2, 1, bang. Okay, Zach Banch and Aiden Core in. Oh, Whitlock's out. Why? Why for Aiden Core? And I got nothing against Core. We've had our beef in the past. I think he's been serviceable for us. But why not just give him a game? For Aiden Core as well. So now we got Logue, Pink, Combin, and Core. Oh, God. Just doesn't make any sense, does it? Whatever. It's the last game. I mean, the darling Trembath still up there. But why is Aiden Core going to play with the 4 key defenders when you can put Matt Whitlock up in the top half of the ground with the 3 keys on each end under the lid at Marvel? Take some marks. Anyway, Banch being in, yeah, good. I mean, Zerha, obviously. Whitlock, that's ridiculous. I just don't understand that. Other than that, no more changes, really. I mean, Goad, Phillips, Finbar on the emergencies. I'm glad they didn't drop Cooper. Bailey Scott's the other one. Like, look, he played all right. Everyone did last week, basically. But, why are we playing Bailey Scott over Matt Whitlock? That's just ridiculous. In comes Rory Laird, Sid Draper, and Billy Dowling. For the Crows, obviously Lachlan Murphy, Isaac Rankin, as we suspected, and Harry Schoenberg for the Crows. So, yeah, not really much rotation for them. There was a chance that they would go light in this one. Not wanting any injuries before that. So, hey, let's go and beat them up, put some knees in the thighs, and make them pretty sore. But to be fair, I'd rather the Crows win the grand final than a lot of other teams. As long as Hawthorn don't win it or Geelong, I don't really care. Collingwood's probably the next one, but I just don't really have that beef with Collingwood. I just can't stand the Hawks and I can't stand the Cats. I feel like they're just capitalism FC, right? So, look, it is what it is. The lineup, I'm pissed about Whitlock. Let me know what you would have changed and what you think of that. Why would they have dropped Whitlock and brought in Aiden Core? I think Aiden Core's still got a role to play on this team. He's obviously back next year. If he's in the team, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think he's completely washed or anything. I think he played decently well before his injury, but what's the point of playing him in the last game of the year? Put in the comments below why you think Clarkson has made that call. That's what I'd like to know from you guys. All right, that's enough from live team reaction. I knew it was going to be underwhelming, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, look, I understand. The only reason I can sort of think about is like, Taylor Walker, Tilthorpe, Fogarty. You've probably got 3 guys you've got to lock up on, and then maybe you've got Pink, Logue, and Core on them with Combin can float across and be that interceptor. I guess that can make sense. So maybe I'm talking myself into it slightly. But look, it is what it is. The midfield for them, I mean, Dawson is fantastic. Jake Saligo, Sam Berry's named in there. They've got obviously a lot of other players that can go through there. Their midfield on paper doesn't like stand out as much as maybe I feel like it does. But they're so physical and they're so well drilled. I mean, Riley O'Brien and Tristan Jerry banging into each other all day is going to be crazy. I mean, last time we lost by 6 goals, but I think they extended it out late. That was over in Adelaide. So look, I reckon we can compete in this game. If we can, the thing I'm interested in in this game out of everything else, I don't really care as much about the result. Obviously, I'd love to win, but I don't think this result affects anything to do with the North Melbourne Football Club. The thing I'd like to see is, can we replicate the style of play that we played with against the Tigers, against a much better opposition? We have to try and play the same way. I don't want us to go defensive. I don't want us to try and stop their attack as much. I want to try and play the same way that we want to play, which was against Richmond. I want the game plan that Clarkson's trying to create, which is bully teams around stoppage, win that football, get it in the forward line quick, and then lock it in there until we score and not give up too much transition. That's what I would like to see. If we can replicate passages of play that we did last week against the Tigers, I think that's a massive tick for us against the pinnacle of the competition. The Crows are the best team. The Cats look great, but I think the Crows are just they're flat track bullies, man. They're going to bully people, and they bully everyone under them because everyone's under them. So I really like the Crows. I would like to see them win the granny. But hey, hey, Who really cares, to be honest? As long as it's not Hawthorn Geelong, that's like I'm saying. So, look, I'm kind of tipping like a similar scoreline to last time. I think maybe we can lose. We'll lose by like 5. Like I'll go 5 goals. I'll go 30 points. I think we go down by 30 points, but hopefully we can score and they score a lot, if that is going to be the result. And hopefully they score nothing, obviously, but you know what I mean. Hopefully we put up points on the board. It's going to be a lot more difficult this week, but hopefully we can put up some points and have those passages of play where we unlock the game and use the corridor. Shees, Wardlaw, and LDU, with Jerry, that midfield was deadly last week. So let's see if we can get that humming and try and make sure we can do this again next season against opposition so we can move up the ladder. North lose, unfortunately, by 4 or 5 goals, I'll go. That's about as much as I can give you. All right, let's look into some of the trade news and things like that. And I should have got this up before, so I'm going to get this up now. We've been linked to giving Windhager from the Saints a 5-year deal. Now, when I posted about this and all the discourse I saw online, I was really, really interested to see that people kind of wanted him, and it's another midfielder. It's another midfielder, and that's the things we've obviously been complaining for years and years and years. Why we don't need more mids? We don't want to draft more mids. Why are we recruiting more mids? If we get a mid, it needs to be a 190 plus centimeter guy. Blah blah blah. So I was really interested to see that a lot of people were for this deal, and I'd love to know why. In the comments below on YouTube, after liking and subscribing, of course, please, if you're one of the people who's pro Windhager, put below why. And yes, as a defensive type mid, very good. I like him. He's the perfect age profile for us. But who gets dropped? And who would be that player that goes out? Who's going to be that Will Phillips next year if we get a Windhager? Is Tom Powell going to struggle to get in the team? Because I don't think it's going to be Simpkin. I understand. I'm not saying Simpkin's better or Powell's better, but Simpkin's the captain of this team. He offers a lot with leadership and all that sort of stuff. And he had a fantastic game on the weekend. I don't think Simpkin's been any better or worse than Powell. I think they've been pretty similar for the year from what their output is. I haven't looked at their numbers and stuff like that, but just from the eye test and what they've contributed, I think they've both had their good and their bad. But it's probably Tom Powell that misses out, right? Especially if we're going McKercher and O'Sullivan to get more midfield time. Parker will go out of there a little bit. If you can build PC's tank up, does he go in that midfield as well? And I think that could be good for Powell because I think he can coast a little bit sometimes because he hasn't tore a game apart this year, really. I mean, the D's game was pretty good by him. He's had some good performances, but he maybe hasn't reached the heights of what we were hoping for him in the preseason. So do you think Powell would be that Will Phillips of this year, that he's in with an injury, but he's not when we got a fully fit midfield? Or if not, who would it be? It's not going to be Stevens. He plays on the wing. I'm talking about midfielders, centre bounce midfielders, people who can play in the centre bounce and around the stoppages. I don't want Stevens and anyone who plays wider off half back and that sort of stuff. Who is the midfielder, the proper, around the stoppage midfielder that won't make it into the team? And also let me know why you'd like Windhager in there. Look, defensive sort of player, above average in disposals, 22 disposals, 12 kicks, nearly 10 handballs, 4.5 marks, 3.4 tackles, which is only average, and 3 clearances, per game, averaging this season. So, obviously he's got a lot of room to grow, 22 years old, 185 centimeters. I wonder what the difference between him and Wardlaw is. I haven't watched heaps of Windhager. Wardlaw feels like he can be more explosive, but I feel like Windhager can be a bit more defensive, even though Wardlaw's a fantastic tackler and the, pressure acts are through the roof. I wonder what they're seeing in Windhager. And I don't mind the signing. I like it, but I'm just struggling to see where he fits. So let me know what you guys think down below. But to be fair, you guys know that I haven't been the biggest Tom Powell fan. I like him and I think he's a good player, but I think he needs some pressure and I think we need a player that is either him or someone else playing every week so we can get the best out of them. And if he's that sort of guy, bring him in as far as I'm concerned. But, someone's got to drop out of there. So if you don't want a Powell dropped, and I know a lot of people are going to say Simpkin, but I don't think that's really realistic. So give me some realism down there, because I know we say Simpkin is a good player. Simpkin's our captain. He's our leader. He's been just as good as a Powell and other players like that this season. Is Windhager coming in? He'll have a little bit of that for a couple of years and then Parker goes and then we can figure it all out from there. Let me know down below. I would say get him because I like him as a player, but I struggle to see where he would fit if we're not kicking one of those guys out of the midfield. Do you know what I mean? So please, please, please let me know. We've been linked. I'll just get my notes up here. I should have got this in front of me before, my friends, so I do apologize. Where are we here? Yes, Duursma. That's what we need to talk about. This was reported, was it Cal Toomey? I'm not exactly sure. Sorry, my voice is really, really going here. I apologize. Noise coming out of, and this is once again, the North Melbourne Shinboners have posted this, but I think Toomey reported it. If not, someone else, who cares? North Melbourne Shinboners on Facebook. Obviously, a lot of us already follow them, but if you do not, please follow them. They're incredibly reliable with their information that they give, and they have said noise coming out of the club is Zane Duursma is a chance to request a trade. The club has gone on record and said he's not up for trade and he's contracted. But recent murmurs are if a trade is suitable for both parties, they'll explore options. Disappointing outcome, but the reality is there's no room for this type in a team that's stacked with half forwards and forwards. What do you guys think? I am in the camp of if we can get something that we win the deal, I would do it. I would do it. I'm not doubting his talent and his potential. I think it is sky high, but I haven't seen anything from him that is going to show that he's going to be that player. This year has been so disappointing for Duursma. He obviously had spurts the year before, his first season where he aired Duursma and, he kicked some goals. And look, that moment in the Essendon game where he kicked that goal from the boundary, you're like, wow, this guy can do it. But, Geordie Payne's looking good. I think Geordie Payne's, had a better year than Duursma has. He's already, and I know it's like coming from a lower bar because we didn't expect as much from him, but, he's kicking goals. He kicked more goals than probably Duursma has for the year. He's played 2 games. A Trembath who's a similar height clearly has done more. Duursma's potential is high. If we can maintain that value and get something really, really good for it, I don't want draft picks. I want players. Can we use that player to go out and get players that we need? You know what I mean? Do we get, I know Windhager's not on that level, but, do we get that? Do we use that to go get a young, up-and-coming, exciting key defender, that medium-sized defender, a Starcevic, that sort of stuff? How can we use him, who I don't think at North Melbourne has a massive future because of positional issues, will thrive at another club? And if he does, good on him, We just need to make sure, and Brady and the recruiting team have to make sure we do not get bullied in this and we get something that is valuable and we really, really need. So let's see how we go. Are you in the camp? Would you put Duursma up for trade? I'm not saying, do you want him gone? He sucks. I'm not saying that. Would you be open to a trade for Duursma, or do you want to see him stay because you think his potential is sky high? Let me know in the comments. I would be on the side of probably trying to move him on and try and get a player who can fit our team and our system more. I haven't seen it from Duursma. I'm pretty over the Fife comparisons and that sort of stuff. I just don't think he's super motivated, and I don't know if he's got the work ethic and the defensive nous maybe to be that player when we already have players that lack that but contribute more on the offensive end. I know we spoke with Joel a few times and he said he didn't mind his time and half back, but he's getting 8 touches a game. He doesn't have a defensive bone. So I'd probably look to move him on. And if it suits him, you know what? Screw it. No, it doesn't suit him. If he's contracted, he's signed the deal. If we find a party, we should just trade him. If he wants out, you don't get to pick, Zane. You don't get to pick your club. You go. That's what every player should have to do in the AFL. We're treating them like children and they're grown men on $1 million. So let's get that out of here. But yeah, let me know what you think about Duursma. I think that's really, really interesting. Okay, let's do some tipping. And then we'll see. Get down to the AFLW this week as well, actually. I think we play Port at Arden Street, and they're going to do the flag unveiling that we won. There's going to be a lot going on down there. Marnie's doing some stuff with Besties Footy. Get around the girls. It's going to be so much fun seeing them play this year. And I'm really, really excited for it. I had a great time. I'm going to do my best to get down there. I think I'll be there. As far as I know at this stage, I'll be there. So catch me walking around, come say hi, and let's watch, maybe if Vicky Wall's back, watch her destroy some people. If not, we watch Tess Craven just be an absolute bloody legend. And see a big win for North Melbourne against the Power at Arden Street on Sunday. Get down Arden Street to watch football. It's great. I love it. I wasn't there for the 90s and 80s and things before that, but it gives us a tiny little taste of what it would have been like to stand up against the fence and do all that. So get down there, support the girls. If you're not in the AFLW, I don't know what you're doing. They're genuinely fun and it's good. And look, get into it. It is fun. Let's do some tipping and get out of here. I don't think I've got anything else. I haven't got anything else in my notes to add of what's going on this week. The only other thing I could point out is I watched Clarkson's press conference before, and he was talking about the compromise drafts and all that sort of stuff. And this is something I've been talking about in this pod for 3 years now. You know, I hate how compromised all the draft is, and I think it makes it really hard for teams to be able to, at the bottom of the ladder, to build through the draft. I made a video on that recently, and I sort of put that in a podcast. Is it realistic to expect North to just be able to rebuild through the draft these days? I don't think so, personally. So look, let's see. But watch that press conference. I really liked his thoughts on it. It mirrors a lot of what I've been saying. And to hear a football mind like Clarkson be talking about that, it sort of justifies maybe my thoughts on it, because a lot of people think I'm stupid for that, but they all support big clubs who don't have to deal with this sort of stuff. So realistically, the fans of the big clubs are the dumbest fans because they really don't know how football operates. There's a really good client of mine, Dion. I'm sure he's not listening, but if you are, Dion, for any reason, you're a legend. And he was saying Collingwood lost 3 in a row and he doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, mate, that's just the biggest place of privilege you'll ever see. And that's an extension of what I'm saying, where those big clubs don't have to deal with a lot of the stuff we do, so they think it doesn't exist when it does. So go watch Clarkson's press conference. It was good. Essendon Carlton. I've tipped Carlton in this game. Last week, if you listen to the pod, I did try and throw some haymakers out there. Turns out my haymakers were haymakers that a lot of other people threw out, and I've dropped down in the tipping. So I have to be conservative this week. But to be fair, I'm 6 tips in front of the guy behind me. So I can't really do much there. Who are we going to tip? All right, Carlton will win this one. I mean, they're already 34-10 up at time of recording. Essendon is rubbish. Geez, I wish we played them again. Collingwood, Melbourne. Collingwood win that one. I mean, I know they've been in some bad form, but geez, I think they win this one. Port, Gold Coast. Gold Coast win that. Port are very lucky they're not in Melbourne and have escaped the scrutiny that we have copped. And other teams have copped, to be fair. They are dog water, that team. They are on the way down, and they deserve every single bit of it. Adelaide North, Adelaide win that game. Geelong, Richmond, Geelong win that game. Sydney West Coast, Sydney win that game. St Kilda, GWS, GWS win that game. Freo, Western Bulldogs. Now, this is the interesting one. If the Western Bulldogs win, I mean, the Gold Coast will win, and they've got 2 games in hand. So you'd expect the Gold Coast to make the finals. Realistically, it's Fremantle or the Bulldogs who is going to make the top 8. And I think this game basically decides that. Unless Gold Coast have an absolute mare and lose to Port or Essendon, which I don't think they're going to, they'll end up on the same amount of points as Bulldogs and Fremantle. And then Fremantle on percentage would jump out unless they win. And if the Bulldogs lose and the Gold Coast win, it could be the Bulldogs. So, yeah, basically this Freo and Bulldogs game is the one that decides who gets 8th. Every other team, Gold Coast, GWS, Hawthorn, Collingwood, Brisbane, Cats, Crows, are all pretty much a lock for the finals. Where they finish could be very, very different. I think 2nd to 8th is still unknown. So that's very, very exciting. And the Crows can still drop down 1 space, but it's probably not going to happen, to be fair. Who do I think wins this game? I think it's the Bulldogs. I've said this a lot. Fremantle is the most overrated side in the top 9. Well, let's go to the top 9 because that's the competitive part of the ladder, right? No, they're the most overrated side. I guarantee the second they step out of Perth in the finals, if they make it, they're losing. They're absolutely losing. The Bulldogs will get Freo. I have no doubt about that. Lions, Hawks. Lions win that. Screw the Hawks, man. I hope they drop down and play a really hard opponent and get knocked out week 1. And, I mean, obviously, on the Wednesday, Gold Coast and Essendon play again. So it's Friday, then a Wednesday game. Jeez. And that's at People First. The Gold Coast obviously going to win that. Oh, okay. My voice is cooking. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're still going to be here every single week. Maybe not 2 podcasts a week, but we're going to be doing 1 a week still. The live stream this weekend, this is something I should have mentioned earlier. Maybe I'll drop a little bit of information earlier in the podcast. I'm going to be doing a live stream this Saturday at 5 p.m. on YouTube. Come over to YouTube. I'll post the links and everything for you guys to watch the live stream. We're going to be doing fan cams and fan reactions. This is something really, really exciting. I've never done it. TBA on this because I've never done a live stream. Things might go wrong. Things might not work. It's me figuring it out. But I'd love everyone to support it. Come over to YouTube, watch the live stream. I'm going to post the link in the chat and you could come on the podcast and have your say after the Adelaide game. So I'm planning to start that at 5 p.m. after the game on Saturday against the Crows. Watch the live stream. Get over to YouTube. If you're on your phone on the train, you're still outside Marvel Stadium, you can all still join. I'll post the link. I can't get everybody on. I don't exactly know how it's all going to work, but you've got a chance to have a chat with me on the pod, get a fan cam, your reaction. It's your thoughts, not mine. That's going to be really, really exciting. So please get around that. I'll be posting about it. YouTube, 5 p.m. on Saturday. That will be the live stream. Thank you for tuning in, guys. What a long year. My voice is cooked. Hopefully better by the live stream. Thank you for listening. We'll chat to you guys after the game of the live stream and on the pod after that. See ya.